All right, so looking through my socials and dibbling and dabbling a little bit on TikTok, there's been a popular trend going on, I guess, right now, and it's kind of a topic I personally want to dive into and just see what people's perspectives are on it. But just looking and observing, it seems like this topic of medium ugly men is a thing where women seem to want to prefer a medium ugly guy or whatever that means. It sounds like now we rate men as if we cooking a steak. You want a medium rare, want a medium well done. I don't know what's going on, but I'm kind of curious to hear this YouTuber's perspective. Madison Brown, the rise of the medium uglies and unconventional male beauty. So we're gonna hop into this, see what she has to say. And, I'm gonna add my little 2 cents to it.
I think it's safe to say we've seen a rise of unconventional male beauty in the media with celebrities like Timothy Chalamet, Jeremy Allen White, and Barry Keoghan. Women don't seem to be interested in the hyper-masculine, muscular himbo type anymore, and maybe they never were interested in that type. Some women have expressed their admiration for the dad bod. Short kings have had their moments in the sun, and we've seen the rise of what I'd like to call the cigarette soft boy earn a lot of love and attention thanks to their benevolent leader, Lil Timmy Tim.
It's your boy, Lil Timmy Tim.
It's your boy, Lil Timmy Tim, aka 2 Inches Proud.
Lil Timmy Tim Chop! Timmy Tim! Lil Timmy Tim Chop!
What is deemed attractive for a male through the female gaze has really been flipped on its head from what we traditionally thought of as attractive for guys. Although we've expanded our palettes for male beauty, it seems like we've also gotten very comfortable with throwing extreme and harsh criticism towards male appearances. So much so that even men who I think meet the standards for conventional male beauty are mercilessly called ugly and ripped to shreds for their appearances. I'm looking.
Most definitely. From my perspective, I've never really had a hard time getting women. It's just never been a struggle for me. But I will say, men do get the worst end of it, because obviously women are very, very picky individuals. So I'm telling you, it's like a eat or be eaten world out here. It's type of thing. That's the best way I can kind of describe it. And if you don't fit that woman's standard of attractiveness, sometimes you cooked. But what I will say is where a lot of men do tend to win is through persistence. And I'm not saying being a simp or going outside or being desperate. I'm talking about through persistence and actually taking the time to get to know this woman and showing her your personality. That kind of raises you up the bar, because even though your initial look didn't necessarily want to bring her in, your personality sometimes can raise you from, whatever you may consider yourself or what she may have rated you. Let's say she rated you a 6, may have raised you up to a 7.5, maybe an 8, because your personality was just that dope, on top of everything else that you may have brought to the table. So it's all based on perspective, but I always say there's plenty of women out here in the world for you guys out here. You gonna find somebody. Just focus on yourself, get you right, whatever that means for you. Which, if that means career, if that means finances, mental, spiritual, emotional, get you to the best version of you. And take your time, because I feel like I always say, once you get yourself to where you want to be as a male in society, and you get yourself to the point to where you like, all right, I think I'm ready to start focusing on this, or you may not even want to focus on it, but you'll know that all right, I'm in a better position, and I feel like just the law of attraction. You are where you want to be. You're in the best position possible. People just naturally want to come to you. Women will naturally be attracted to you. And that doesn't necessarily mean you got to be a millionaire. Doesn't even necessarily mean you got to be a 6-figure earner. You just radiate such positive energy, and you just know you're in such a good place. that you're just going to attract the right people, and you'll be in such a good place as well that you just won't stand for the BS. You're not just going to let anything slide. You're not going to let the bare minimum just happen. You're going to be so confident in yourself that you'll be willing to walk away, even if you know that's a 10 out of 10 woman, but she treating you like BS. You like, all right, I'm off this. I'm on to the next. All right.
At you, Barry Keoghan.
That just be pissing me off. Comment says, am I the only one who thinks he's ugly? Why do you want to be special so badly? Why do you want to be different so badly?
Men who even are average looking or look normal are considered hideous, according to the opinions on the internet, which obviously are always rooted in reality, of course, obviously. I think of Benny Blanco when I think of men who I would deem to be average looking who are called hideous online. And I'll talk more about that later, and the reason why people say that is because he's dating Selena Gomez. But as a woman who is attracted to men, I find the internet's perception of male beauty to be unpredictable and confusing. The term medium ugly has been thrown around a lot online and has gained a lot of popularity amongst women when describing their dating preferences for men. Before I get deeper into this topic, I want to address the obvious. Female celebrities or women in general in real life have always been picked apart for their appearance and have had incredibly high standards when it comes to what is considered beautiful physically for a woman. Especially with the 90s and early 2000s tabloid culture, we saw how the media ripped beautiful, gorgeous women to shreds for the tiniest little perceived flaw. Women know this struggle all too well. And I think that's why we're seeing this harsh criticism towards men's appearances, because we think, oh, well, it's justified, or, now they can get a taste of their own medicine.
The harshest critics are women, so the same way they was cooking women back in the day, no matter if you were slim or if you were big or if your face didn't look, I guess, up to par according to whoever was leaving the comments, they coming for you. It's regardless. It's like beauty is in the eye of the beholder. They always say that. So opinions are always gonna come, regardless of what you look like. You could be Channing Tatum, for God's sake. There's still women out there who don't find him that attractive. I don't know. I just personally wouldn't take offense to it. It is what it is. You kind of got to keep it moving, find your own little swag, and like I said, you're gonna always find somebody who's gonna rock with you.
Women have been ridiculed for their appearances forever, and so we should be allowed to call men ugly. And I can see that perspective, but I don't think fighting with fire is really the solution. At least for me, I've never been that type of person. I don't think the solution to fixing unrealistic beauty standards is to just call everybody ugly, man or woman. Believe it or not, men are human too. I know that's hard to believe, but I don't think it's right to equate a man's worth to his appearance, just like I don't think it's right to equate a woman's worth to her appearance. Because whether you think he's ugly or not, ugly people deserve love too. Call me crazy. I want to start this conversation with Timothée Chalamet. I think I'm going to call this chapter the Timothée Chalamet effect, because although he is regarded as very handsome and good looking to many people, both gay, straight, man, woman alike, I think he kind of started a trend when it comes to unconventional beauty for Gen Z. Timothée Chalamet's presence in the mainstream really shook the status quo of male beauty and really left the average person scratching their head when they realized that straight women were kind of obsessed with him. In the world of hunky hunks like Zac Efron and Brad Pitt, we got a paler, daintier baby girl version of a heartthrob. Everything men thought women liked kind of just went out the window. So that begs the question, why do women love Timothée Chalamet so much? Well, I think his lack of muscle mass and his my guy pretty like a girl face is almost unassuming and romantic in a way.
Your son looks like a girl!
He's the antithesis of the machismo type. In a world that rejects toxic masculinity, Timothée Chalamet fits in perfectly into this gap where women aren't really into the, again, hyper-masculine, super macho guy, but like a softer, delicate version of masculinity. Timothée Chalamet's dainty wrists and gentle gaze that resembles a Renaissance painting, or...
I've always said that niggas who go out there and get real swole, who get, who going hard in the gym and creating these bodybuilder type bills for themselves, What a lot of men don't realize is that they're doing that to impress other men because that's what men find attractive. But fail to realize that surprisingly, a lot of women don't find a big, swole, huge dude attractive. I mean, it may be nice to look at, but overall, like locking down and committing, most women don't find that very attractive. Yeah, they like a man that's in shape, sure. And then like she was saying earlier in the video, you got women who like a man with a dad bod. So like I keep saying that it's based on perspective. So it's all based on, what's your preference, what's that woman's preference, and what she likes. But back to what I was saying though. So dudes tend to generate what looks good to other men or what men find is attractive, but actually don't take the time out to, I guess, better understand what women find attractive if they're looking for a particular type of woman or trying to attract more women. Going out there and getting as big as possible, trying to look like a Hulk, in my humble opinion, is not going to get you the women that you're looking for, or get you as many women as you're looking for. But maybe if you're just trying to get any women at all, hey, go out there and do what you got to do, my brother.
Starving Victorian child, depending on who you ask, I think implies a softness, an empathy, a compassion, and artistic romantic interest or personality. Like any famous actor, the public falls in love with them through their roles and their characters that they play. When you think of Timothée Chalamet characters, especially early in his mainstream career, his characters like Elio from Call Me By Your Name and Kyle from Lady Bird are typically seen reading or playing or listening to music through the lens of a lover. He's the love interest, and he's not the jock, but the poet archetype. Whether the character is actually just pretentious and pompous or not, that's still the vibe that is carried in the films. He's been romanticized since the public knew who he was really, and I'm not counting Interstellar either. And so we see him through this romantic lens by the movies that we watch him in. We assume that he's like that in real life. That's kind of what happens with actors. The public automatically assumes that they are like their characters. And I think this perception of Timothée Chalamet is why people were so confused when he started dating Kylie Jenner, because she clashes with that perception. You'd think he'd be with someone like, I don't know. I mean, he was with Lily Rose Depp, which I think more so coincides with his brand, but Kylie Jenner is kind of like a curveball because we wouldn't put a soft boy with an IG baddie. We perceive him as this like gentle, soft boy who would quote Tolstoy to us as we go to sleep and wouldn't dare do something as violent as hurt us physically, because I mean, a man with the arms of a baby deer wouldn't really be able to hurt us even if he tried. But again, through this romantic lens that we see him through.
Hey, these skinny niggas out here winning. I don't know what she chatting about. They out here winning. I'm telling you. I know a couple niggas out here winning and doing just fine. And they ain't trying to get swole, ain't trying to get big at all. These women love these skinny dudes. Especially in my area. The niggas moving. So being swole, being skinny, you still winning. Even fat niggas out here winning. So it just, like I said, all depends on what you looking for. But honestly, if you got the right motion and you got the charisma, man, you can get any girl to turn your way, no matter what your weight class is. But on to the other point, I never understood why people are so fascinated with what's going on in celebrities' lives. I just never cared enough. Like, who dating who? I mean, if it pop up on my timeline and I'm scrolling and I see it, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. But I never went out of my way to be like, okay, who is dating this person? Oh my God, I can't believe they're dating that person. What? How long they've been together? Are they planning on having any children? Where did they meet? Let me go online and find some more pictures of these people. It's so fascinating how invested people become with other people's lives. And I always had that assumption: if you that invested, I mean you particularly may not like your own life, or you see yourself living their life, which very strange. Yeah, in my opinion, I don't know. I've always just been focused on me, and just trying to get to the best place I can be with my own life, and not just so focused on somebody else's.
From his movies, we kind of project this image onto him. But that's his appeal, right? Is like he has this like gentle, soft boy energy that is attractive to a lot of young women, especially in Gen Z, because in this generation we reject the hyper masculine and the toxic masculinity. And it seems like the, you know, muscular, rugged, traditionally masculine guy is somewhat intimidating or off-putting because we assume that he might be more aggressive and he might be more brash and less empathetic and soft and kind. I think the best way to describe Timothée Chalamet's appeal to women is that Nicole Richie quote from The Simple Life.
I don't like good-looking guys. I like them to be really skinny and pale and look like they're dying.
Going back briefly to the topic around the comfortability and disrespecting men's appearances online. A few weeks ago, when the Dune press was going on, I saw so many TikToks of what I'm assuming were female fans fat-shaming Timothée Chalamet. I never thought those words would go together in a sentence, but yeah, people were literally doing like side-by-sides of him this year versus like a year or two ago and being like, what happened to him? He's gotten fat.
Am I the only one that saw these videos on their For You page and was like confused? Actually had to look at the comment sections in the videos to realize that people were talking about how he gained weight and that he was undergoing a twink death. People are actually looking up Timothée Chalamet gained 50 pounds. 50 pounds where? Where? People are talking about how he gained weight from what, 3-4 years ago, pointing out how like his cheeks aren't as like are you telling Tim Motion like he
I don't know why overly
weird
invested.
and jarring because you know what I mean, we've lost him to weight gain. I don't know, and it was so weird and jarring because you know this is rare. I don't find men going through this as much, but yeah, they were going in on Timothée Chalamet, and he didn't really look that different. I mean, I think he just stopped mewing, but no, like his jawline was a little softer and his face was a little fuller, and people lost their minds. And this is kind of what I'm talking about. Yeah, just because he's a guy doesn't mean it's okay to do stuff like this, just like it's not okay to call female celebrities fat for like not being emaciated. It's just really gross and unacceptable and isn't really setting a good example when it comes to treating humans like human beings despite what they look like. And Timothée Chalamet is not 22 years old. He's like pushing 30. So anyway, moving on. Speaking of weight gain, I guess, or a thicker build, I want to talk about dad bods for a moment. Similar to the Timothée Chalamet appeal and his baby deer biceps, the dad bod is like the other side of the same coin, where we have this unconventional beauty or body type that previously wasn't considered attractive, or traditionally attractive, I should say. Dad bods have been praised online from women for the same exact reason of that it's less intimidating, and I think women have this perception about muscular men, like I said, where they may be more aggressive or even more self-centered or have narcissistic traits because they care about their appearance. Obviously, when we think of a himbo, we think of like a...
I feel like narcissist, that word is thrown around so much that I feel like a lot of people just don't even know the actual definition of narcissist, and it's just being used so often. Like the other night, I was out with one of my homegirls, and the waiter was talking about, I guess, a past relationship that she had with a dude, and just immediately was like, "Oh, he's a narcissist." And I'm just like, that word in my humble opinion and in my life, it's just one of those words that's overused, and most of the time in the context that it's being used in, and then or when they describe the person, it's like, yeah, I would have to see more, because I just don't believe people right off the bat anymore when they say, "Oh, that person's a narcissist." It's becoming one of those overused words that don't even fit within the context of what they're talking about or who they're talking about. They just want to use that as a negative term because things didn't work out, or that person was maybe slightly a little bit selfish.
Masculine, like jacked guy, and usually they're perceived as dumb, the male bimbo. They're not smart, they just care about lifting weights, and that's kind of as far as their intelligence goes. And I would imagine that maybe a super jacked, muscular, lean dude may feel unwelcoming to a woman who doesn't have muscle tone or is curvier or isn't super athletic looking. It's actually been proven in studies that women perceive men with dad bods or less muscularity as better fathers.
A recent meta-analysis of 96 studies testing 6 dimensions of masculinity found that strength and muscularity was the strongest and most consistent predictor of a man's mating success. Better than a deep voice, better than testosterone, even better than height. Bit surprising, I know, and while numbers can lie, in this case, I don't think numbers are lying. Now, part of this is probably just the likely personality that gets jacked. The men who do the things you need to do to get strong and muscular are probably more ambitious romantically, on average. A large part of this seems to be scaring off rivals. There's some research indicating that formidability in the eyes of men is more important to your romantic success than attractiveness to women. Jacked dudes might just not have to compete for the women they want because other men are just too scared to test their temper. But to be clear, some of this association is attractiveness. Men might want to be more muscular than women want them to be, but women typically still prefer men who are more muscular than average. So given that muscles are scientifically sexy, what is up with the dad bod phenomenon? When choosing a mate, women are looking for men who are able to produce robust offspring and protect them, but they're also looking for a man who will nurture and invest in her and her offspring. And some hypothesize that more muscular men are less likely to be good at this nurturing role on average. Perhaps they're more likely to be the aggressive type and or less likely to be the committed type. And indeed, that is women's perception of them. There's been direct research on dad bods, and sure enough, women perceive men who are plumper and less muscular to be better dad candidates. And so even if, in the broadest sense, athletic men are more attractive to women, it's perfectly sensible that some women, especially in some contexts, will find a dad bod, a soft physique, most appealing.
I would also imagine, and this is just me hypothesizing here, that maybe there's an assumption that if a man spends a lot of his free time in the gym and that's his main priority, then he will feel less inclined to spend time with his wife and his child. Now let's get into the medium uglies, shall we? So
I think that's a bold statement. I don't think that's necessarily true. All depends on what that man is striving for. If he's striving to better himself, I think, that's hard to say. I personally wouldn't agree with that. Just because you want to go to the gym and better yourself doesn't mean you're spending less time with your kids. Because the guy with the dad bod could be the same guy who would prefer to be at the bar, drinking a couple beers, throwing those things back real quick, and focusing on that and watching sports with the boys or something instead of spending time with the fam. So either or, but I wouldn't necessarily agree with that.
I'm sure you've heard of the phrase medium ugly, which is a phrase that women online have used when talking about their preferences. They prefer a medium ugly guy. Not a guy who's totally ugly, but not too hot either. Just attractive enough to date, but he's probably got something weird going on his face. Weird. I say that in quotes. Weird could be like a crooked nose or teeth. I don't know. Medium ugly, I think, is also subjective, of course. And some women will say they just prefer a straight up ugly guy. Full on. I guess if I were to give a medium ugly example, and this is also based off of what I've seen on the internet, would be like Adam Driver. Especially if you've seen the show Girls, like he kind of starts out looking awkward and you're like, oh, that's kind of a interesting looking man. But the more you spend time with his character and his face, you're like, oh, actually, he's actually cute. Like I would date him. He's tall. He's got nice hair, so I guess that would be a medium ugly. But I think Adam Driver, is fairly good looking. I wouldn't say he's ugly at all, but medium ugly. There you go. I feel weird using the term medium ugly, and I will explain this shortly, but I think other guys who fit into this category are like Jeremy Allen White. Everyone loves Jeremy Allen White, and I feel like he's also representing this new kind of male beauty standard, if you will. And of course, Barry Keoghan, I think, also fits into this. He has a very polarizing perception when it comes to his face. Some people think he's super hot, some people think he's hideous, and this is where I get confused, because I would say he is attractive. He's certainly not ugly. And you can see someone's face and be like, oh, I see that he has features that are conventionally attractive. Am I personally feeling that attraction? No, but you can still look at someone who's good looking but not be like, oh, I'm attracted to this person. And I feel like the internet is so polarizing now, where it's if I don't feel attracted to them, then they're ugly. It's okay. Because it just makes me think okay, then what is ugly? Because if Barry Keoghan is ugly, then I hate to break it to you, but 90% of y'all are fucking hideous, if that's the standard that we're going off of. And don't think I forgot what y'all did to Dream when he took that damn mask off. Y'all ripped that poor man to shreds.
Boy, he got so much heat when he took that mask off. I mean, his career hasn't been the same. I mean, I think his views used to go stupid. Now it's, let me see something real quick. Real quick. Why has there been like a lag on this? Like YouTube always takes like forever to pull up. Alright, this how we coming. Come on, bro. Really? I mean, yeah, his number's still going stupid. But I think back in the day, well, yeah. Oh, wow. Wait, hold up. This is 5 years ago. 4, 2, 11 months, 4 months. He's not posting as much. I mean, he's still getting views, so he's still getting mad love. So I don't think, I guess there was a significant drop off maybe. I mean, 95 million views. That is insane. 95 million, 63 million, 24 million. Whew. Wow. Yeah. I mean, he was going so crazy. And like I said, 2 weeks ago, he's still getting mad love. So
Reds. And he wasn't ugly. He just looks like an average, normal looking guy. To me, ugly is like if you see someone and you're walking down the street, for example, or you're in a room with them and you're like, wow, that person is so ugly. Like, it's almost hard to look at them. I think that's ugly.
I think the people had such high expectations that when he turned out to be an average looking guy, according to her, he turned out to be an average looking guy. People were just disappointed in that fact because apparently, I guess a lot of people found his voice very seductive and very attractive. That when he pulled off his mask, they expected him to be, Brad Pitt or something. So the fact that those expectations were set so high, and he took off his mask and he didn't look the way that people wanted him to look, that's where all that hate came from. And I think that's just people just doing too much. It's like, my goodness, it's never that serious.
Was not giving that. Like, if you saw Dream walking down the street, you'd be like, oh, just a normal looking dude. Like, he looks like most people. And I think the internet has really lost the plot when it comes to what is actually ugly and what is just average. And I will blame social media and the accessibility to plastic surgery for this, because you can't even watch a reality show anymore that's supposed to be real people without seeing like a Kim Kardashian clone and like crazy lip filler and Botox. Like, everyone kind of looks the same on TV and on social media. That's really like changed our perception of what is attractive and what's normal or average. I don't know, maybe they thought Dream was supposed to look like Edward Cullen or something. Obviously, the face reveal aspect of it all kind of amplified this reaction because people were kind of filling in the blanks of what they thought he would look like just based off of his voice. And I'm guessing most of his fans are like 13 years old anyway and don't understand how the world is. But at the end of the day, I promise you that a lot of these people who are calling all these guys ugly online, if Barry Keoghan or even Dream were to like ask you out at a bar, or you met through school and they're like, do you want to hang out sometime, they'd probably say yes. And I know the standard for celebrities is different. Like, celebrities are kind of meant to be beautiful, but I don't think that otherworldly alien-like beauty was always the norm, or like perfect faces with like perfect straight veneers and a perfect straight nose and clear skin has always been the norm, even for celebrities. Because you think of like an 80s romance movie like Harry Met Sally. Meg Ryan, she's very pretty, but she doesn't look like Bella Hadid. Like, she looks like a normal person. Or even, I forget the name of the guy who was in How Harry Met Sally, but I mean, that dude was balding, I'm pretty sure. Like, movie stars used to look like normal people. Tom Hanks, he was also in a Meg Ryan movie. he looks like a normal dude. And I don't think people were like shrieking at the sight of Tom Hanks being like, ugly, disgusting monster, get him off the screen, you know? And at the end of the day, it's like, well, what's the reason? What is the purpose? Like, what's gonna happen? Okay, you think Barry Keoghan is horrendously ugly, and then what?
One of our interns here, she said that you make music for gays.
So?
No, I'm saying
what now?
Sometimes I think people do this online as like an ego fluff, like, oh, I'm not a movie star, but even I wouldn't date Barry Keoghan. He's so ugly, and it's like a way to make themselves feel better. It's the same reason why men call Sydney Sweeney mid. It's like, what world are we living in? I don't think we're in the same dimension, because if you're gonna go as far to say Sydney Sweeney is mid or unattractive, then you're insane. And like, please look in the mirror, because
She alright. Yeah, she alright. Nothing crazy. In my humble opinion, she ain't nothing crazy. Dang, I paused for another reason. She said something. Oh, when it comes to looks, it's such a hard topic to kind of converse over, or just have a conversation over in general, because it's so subjective. Everybody's gonna have their own opinion when it comes to what someone looks like. I feel like a lot of people can come to a general consensus on certain people, if they're attractive or not. But, you know, when it comes to ratings and things of that nature, it's just so subjective. It's hard to pinpoint why people feel this way and why people feel that way, because it's their opinion. So, I don't know. It just feels like this is a topic that's kind of tough to really speak on, because it doesn't make too much sense to speak on it, because it's like, oh, at the end of the day, that's that person's opinion. But I guess forming the word, or coming up with the words medium ugly for men is very interesting. I don't know. I just, like I said, it's like we've turned it into talking about how well a steak is cooked. Is it rare, medium well, or well done? It just, whatever. That's the society that we live in. We're just gonna keep coming up with stuff.
we're in the same dimension, because then you're insane. And like, please look in the mirror, because I promise you, none of y'all are even coming close, holding a candle to Sydney Sweeney's face and body. I don't want to hear it. So when it comes to the mentality with the medium ugly thing, I think women assume that if a guy is medium ugly or just less attractive than her, then he's more likely to fawn over her, to be a better partner, to be more loyal and loving and appreciative, because, you know, he bagged a baddie. He got a girl who's out of his league. And I can understand that logic. You know, dating hot men does have its drawbacks.
There are some real drawbacks to dating attractive men. There's some research indicating that physically attractive men are less satisfied in relationships, that they are more likely to show extra pair interest, meaning other than their partner. They're more likely to be, you know, have a wandering eye, let's say. There's also some evidence that attractive men are generally less sociosexually restricted, so they're more interested in casual relationships than serious ones. And so it's possible that for some individual women, they go through their dating careers, they date some hot guys, these hot guys mistreat them, and they realize, if I aim a little lower to the medium ugly ones, let's say, to the point where I'm still somewhat happy with the way they look, but they're not necessarily going to be out of my league or mistreat me, then I'll feel more comfortable. There's obviously going to be some women like that, but I think for a lot of women, this is a way to cope, let's say. So it's like people compete with each other over how attractive their mates are. Many people want to date someone attractive and have the social status associated with that. I think that some women are dating guys who are visibly, physically unattractive, and their way of negating the status hit that they would take from that socially is saying, oh, actually, I prefer that. You know, I could date a super hot guy just like my friends, but I would prefer to date medium ugly.
It's like a huge mind game. Like, what in the... Is that really how we moving nowadays? Oh, I'm dating this guy because I'm trying to, like he said, cope with the fact that I was done so wrong by a very attractive person. So let me lower my standards so that I don't, if I do get hurt by this person, I won't feel as bad because they're not as attractive. Like, the mental gymnastics that, if what he's saying is true, that people would go through just to justify their actions is wild to me. That just makes no sense. And I don't know, you just playing with people. You just playing with people's emotions, moving like that just because you wanna justify your actions and kind of cope with the hurt of being done by attractive people. And like you stated, usually attractive people tend to have more options. When you're attractive, you have more options. I'm not gonna say every attractive person is gonna have a wandering eye, but they tend to have that wandering eye, and knowing that they can get damn near whoever they want, it's like it's never been really an issue for them. So them taking a relationship seriously, especially at a young age, they usually don't tend to kind of settle down and slow down until they get older. But that's just how they moving. Like when you got that much motion, that much attention, it's hard to stay locked in with one person unless that person, usually did something serious for you. Stayed down while you was figuring stuff out and did this or did that or did just something significant in your life. Especially from a man's perspective, man, they gonna do what they gonna do.
Hot take, and I honestly kind of agree with it.
Yeah.
They might not know that they're doing it for that reason, but now it's like this whole trend, and everyone's like, yeah, I have a medium ugly guy too.
Big shout out to Mac and Murphy, by the way, because he's come in clutch for this video. He's a scientist who talks about mating behavior in humans, and his content is great. I will link his stuff in the description. But with all that being said, in the wise words of Billie Eilish, if you give an ugly guy a chance, he thinks he rules the world.
Beautiful girls get asked by the worst dudes to prom, and they're like, yeah, because they finally found someone that likes them. Why is every pretty girl with a horrible looking man? I don't understand. Listen, I'm not shaming people for their looks, but I am though. You give an ugly guy a chance, he thinks he rules the world.
But like I said, subjective. Because just because you think that man is not very attractive, that woman may think that. So like she probably, let's say the guy in her opinion is a 4. That woman may think that guy's a 6.5 or a 7. That's what I'm saying. This topic is just so difficult to talk about because it's all opinion based. So her sitting on here talking about some, giving ugly guys a chance. I mean, unless that person unless you spoke with that person is like, yeah, he's not that attractive, but he has such a good this or such a good that. It's just stupid to have this conversation, to be honest with you. Billie Eilish, I think she alright, average. I wouldn't personally approach her, especially her style. She dressed like a dyke.
I swear to God, because they got a hot girl, they can be horrible. Like, you're still ugly, though.
A less attractive guy or ugly guy will get with a hot girl, and that just like skyrockets his ego, and then he thinks, oh, if I can pull her, I can pull anybody. And this does kind of happen where like men are actually viewed as more attractive when they are with a woman, because it's kind of like confirmation bias, or like he's with her, so he must have something going on, and that makes women feel more.
Sorry for all the pausing, but it is my video. She got a point there. I've noticed that with me and even my homeboys, especially speaking on me, when I was in a relationship, that's when I would get the most attention. And I'm not very public with my relationship. So it's kind of strange. It's like the universe the universe just tells people, hey, you're in a relationship. All of a sudden, these people come out the woodworks in your DMs, this, that, and the third, blah, 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 this. So for the people who publicize their relationship, I know it. I know they get the same type of thing, especially if it's a very attractive woman or a very attractive man. It goes either way. But yeah, that happened to my homeboy. As soon as he got in his little relationship, all of a sudden his DMs is flooded. I mean, the women coming out the woodworks, and like she stated, I think that's a very big thing for women. Women like to notice, oh wow, you're in a relationship. Oh, that's an attractive woman. Oh, he must have something going on. Let me slide in here and talk to him. But it's strange because it's like women just naturally compete with women. Women, I always look at it as women sometimes can be their own worst enemies. Like the way that they fight and claw for men sometimes is like, wow, we really about to ruin a friendship over umpteen amount of years over a nigga. That's tough.
more attracted to that man because, you know, the girl that's with him has already vetted him and has deemed him a viable partner.
One of the many terrible ironies of dating as a man is that one of the most attractive things that you can have, one of the most attractive traits you can have, is already having a girlfriend. Numerous studies with various methodologies all converge on the idea that if you're walking around and you're holding hands with a woman already, if you're already with a woman, that will make you more attractive to other women. And a lot of people know about this phenomenon, but they kind of dumb it down, right? They talk about it in a competitive landscape, like, oh, she's naturally competitive and she wants her spot or whatever. And it's really not like that. It's more of an informational problem. If you're looking for mates, right, if you're trying to find out who to partner with, usually all you can see is physical attractiveness. But if you see that they already have someone, right, someone else already loves them, then they've already done the informational deadlift of sussing out their personality, their resource procuring abilities, all the various things that go into mate choice have already been cleared by another person. They've already been co-signed as a potential partner by another woman. It makes sense that men with partners are perceived as more attractive. Because if you're choosing between two people of equal physical attractiveness, then the one who already has a partner is the one you have more positive information about.
I call this the Pete Davidson effect because ever since he dated Ariana Grande, he has been Hollywood's designated boyfriend. Now, this may be a hot take, so buckle up, but in some cases, sometimes women who say they prefer ugly men are intentionally going after men who are not threatening to their ego. And what I mean by this is that I think they may not feel fully confident in their abilities to go after really attractive men or the men that they really want. And so they'll proclaim that, oh, actually, I only like ugly men. That's why I only date ugly guys, is because, like, that's my choice. I'm not like the rest of you guys who want to date, you know, attractive, hot, good-looking men. I like the ugly ones. And it almost becomes like a personality trait or a badge of honor. But I wonder if there's maybe something deeper going on there. Because why risk being rejected from a guy who's really good looking when you can go after a guy who you know will want to be with you because they see you as more attractive than them. The need to be the pretty one in the relationship as a woman is understandable. You could also say that is kind of an ego-driven desire or decision, but I never really understood that as someone who wants to be with a partner who is attractive and I am attracted to. Why can't we both be the pretty ones in the relationship? You know? I feel like that's very possible. And this does appeal to the societal norm or expectation of women and their appearance. Like, it's expected for the woman to be more attractive because, I mean, generally women are more attractive than men. And that's, I would say, because women are conditioned to spend more time on their appearance. Like, women literally spend more time and money on their appearance. So, of course, we're going to be more attractive than the other group of people who don't spend as much time on their appearance and use 3-in-1 shampoo, conditioner, and body wash. I mean, have you noticed, like, the reaction that people have when they see a woman with a man who is conventionally more attractive? Like, it doesn't go over very well. They're like, why is he with her? Because I think people are used to seeing guys with women who are prettier, but their inverse is very rare. But obviously, based off of this video, whenever there's a perceived attractiveness discrepancy, people get irate. It pisses people off. Look at Benny Blanco and Selena Gomez, for example. Obviously, Selena Gomez is very beautiful. Benny Blanco, I think, is a normal looking guy. I don't think he's hideous. I don't think he looks like Brad Pitt. He's just an average looking dude. He's kind of goofy in the way that he dresses and acts, but that's kind of his appeal, I guess, his charm. And people are like so upset about this. And I just think it's really crazy how people are going out of their way to be like, Benny Blanco is disgusting. He looks like a rat. I feel like I've met plenty of guys who look like Benny Blanco. I don't know. And I would certainly never call them ugly. Like, that's just mean. It's rude. And I thought y'all wanted ugly boyfriends. Am I missing something? I thought having an ugly boyfriend or a medium ugly boyfriend was cool now. And if I'm going to be so for real right now, I think it's really crazy to call your boyfriend or potential boyfriend ugly. Like, am I crazy for thinking that? Like, it's really mean and disrespectful. Like, imagine calling your boyfriend ugly to his face. Like, I'm sure he would not appreciate that. And if the roles were reversed, you also wouldn't appreciate that. I wouldn't want my boyfriend to be like, you know, you're medium ugly, but I kind of like that about you. I'm just...
To keep it 100, like I was speaking on earlier, it's, if you gonna look at it, like she stated, I think that's crazy. But if you're gonna look at it as this person is not attractive or you're willing to call that person ugly, why don't you just date somebody that you find more attractive instead of trying to do this mental gymnastics of trying to justify why you won't date somebody attractive because of past situations. But in the back of your head, it's almost as if you're going to have regrets or you're settling because of your past situations. So you would, in private, tell your homegirls how, oh yeah, he's not that attractive or he's ugly, but I'm with him because he treats me right. I think that's crazy. And usually relationships like that, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't last very long, or if they are lasting, he just a simp, and he a simp, and he's okay with taking disrespect. Because if she's saying that in private, I wouldn't be surprised if that woman has probably told him to his face that you're not the most attractive, or you know. The guy may have asked her, "Oh, why'd you choose me?" Yeah, even though you're not the most attractive, you have a great personality and things like that. To me, that just screams, "Oh, you're settling. You're settling." So personally, if I ever hear that, if you ever hear that, you better not entertain that woman, or vice versa, you better not entertain that man. If he's telling you, "Oh yeah, you're not that attractive, but I'm with you because you have such a great personality." Ooh, that's tough. Nobody want to hear that.
It's not into looks like that. Like, are you kidding? I would literally crumble to the ground. I'd break up with him if my boyfriend was like, "I'm not attracted to you, but it's what's inside that matters." Both are
factual.
important. I would want my partner to find me beautiful and to find me attractive. And I want to find my partner to be beautiful and attractive. Gender aside, we should be treating each other like human beings with respect, especially those who we're in intimate relationships with. I know it's easy to kind of like punch down at men because men punch down at women all of the time. I get it, but I don't think that's really solving anything. And again, it's subjective. Like, one man's medium ugly could be another man's supermodel. I don't think it makes you like a holier than thou person for like dating someone despite their looks, because it's shallow to care about someone's looks. It's not shallow to want to be attracted to your partner. That's kind of a major factor in what makes someone a romantic interest than just a friend. But I guess if you're attracted to the medium ugly, then that would mean that like you are genuinely attracted to your partner, but you're also just aware that they don't fit like the conventional male beauty standard. I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think. Check out my Patreon for...
Well, that was a good video. Definitely appreciate her for that. Let me drop a like here. But like she stated towards the end, I'm not going to date somebody who doesn't find me attractive, and I hope that would be the same for anybody else out there. And also, this whole topic, it's very subjective. It's such a weird topic to try and jump on. But I would say, to leave you with my 2 cents, if somebody has the audacity to call you medium ugly but trying to lock in with you, man, you better be off that one. You better on to the next. Keep it moving. Too many options out here for you to be settling. But I appreciate y'all. Definitely let me know what y'all think. If y'all got drop y'all opinions in the comment section. But other than that, I hope y'all have a great rest of your day.